my Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your timeless work, career, vocation read. Doing it in March into April 2022, but I am your reader. Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short. Professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, available on Kindle. Link in the description box, creator on Patreon. Patreon.com/drawingthecircle. I'm the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hey, my crab cakes, my fourth housers, my moon child friends, moon child. Let's get down to business. If you're new to the channel, a work, career, vocation read is really a 3 levels of power read. 3 levels of power that I learned from Carolyn Myss, MYSS. She's a PhD, and there is a link in the description box to a YouTube video explaining the 3 levels of power, lenses through which you can look at different aspects of your life, in this case, life purpose, work, career, and vocation. We'll explain that as we go. We are doing 13 cards in this spread. It used to be 12, but I picked up the chakra reading cards while I was in Saratoga visiting family. I got it from the Magic Moon. I got to see Veronica, my friend Veronica, the owner there, read her, and got myself a lovely new deck. So I did an unboxing for it. If you want to look, there's a link in the description box for the unboxing that I did for these the other day. But other than that, it's a general read. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs to find perhaps leverage in one of these 3 levels of power. Your sun sign could be way into your work. We'll explain that when we get there. Your moon sign, your career, and perhaps your Venus or rising in your vocation. Bringing them into alignment, the chakras involved, the lessons learned, help you feel more fulfilled and be more fulfilled in your life purpose here, which I think is necessary on the planet. And let's not pretend that there's not a war going on at the time of this recording in the Ukraine. And since there's not much many of us can do financially or politically to shift that, it feels like our own energy work, our own fulfilling what we came here to do, might keep this planet going when all else may seem to fail. That's how important we are individually when we work as one. Yeah. That being said, both feet on the floor, if you can. Focus on your breath, if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace so that you get to fulfill your life purpose here, work, career, vocation. We'll talk about it as we go. Otherwise, we're going to start with the Caroline Myss archetype deck. And I love these reads. I've been doing them for clients for decades. So let's see what hits the table. Ready? Buckle up, crab cakes. Here we go. Breathe. Still point. As I call upon the collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of life purpose, and the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above, what is the dominant 8th chakra archetypes using the Caroline Myss archetype deck for their work, their career, and their vocation as 3 levels of power? So in their work, what's the dominant archetype in their work? Their literal level of power, their survival intuition, what's going on in their career, right? Their hunger, their thirst, their passion, what lights them up from the inside, their creative intuition, and their personal level of power, please. The 8th chakra dynamic there. And for their vocation, their spiritual calling, the star that calls them forward, reason, season, or a lifetime, their visionary intuition, please, in this timeless true love read. Now, these are already in the title, but the way I laid them down are the reverse what's in the title, because you really want to read these from the 8th chakra dynamic down. You'll see. So, in your work, you've got the prostitute archetype. That's fun. Everybody has the prostitute archetype. It's one of the 4 survival family archetypes. There are 9 different families. The survival is the trunk of the archetypal tree. And if the trunk is healthy, the rest of the branches, the other archetypes, the artist, and all that cool fun stuff can certainly be healthy as well. But everybody has the child, the victim victor, the saboteur empowerer, and the prostitute archetype. And the prostitute is not all about sex for money. Part of it, but not the majority of it. Here we have written the shadow and the light, right? So that's a big one to start off with. And why wouldn't you be dealing with survival issues in your work right now with the way things are on planet Earth? Lovely, lovely, lovely. In your career, you've got the guide archetype, a divine family archetype, which just came up in the same position for Gemini. So just did that reading today. Thought it felt familiar. So you might want to check out that if you've got any planets in Gemini or dealing with any Geminis in your work, career, vocation. And excellent, in your vocation, you've got the Hermit, a wisdom family archetype. So in your vocation is about wisdom. Your career is about being a guide or receiving that guidance. We'll read what's on these cards in a minute. And your work, survival family archetype in survival intuition, makes a lot of sense. Let's read them. The prostitute, remember, everybody has this. I ain't calling you a hooker. I'm not calling you a hoe. Everybody has the opportunity to sacrifice their faith for comfort. You'll see what I mean. The shadow attribute written on the card is the lead, the toxic, the fear that we have to alchemize into gold, pain, from pain to peace, shadow to light, lead to gold. That is the healing journey, the healing process. The shadow attribute of the prostitute places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. So instead of empowering yourself, you make the dominant consideration material and security and oftentimes comfort. I read Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Myss when it first came out. I had it in hardcover. And I did my best to really, to this day, really keep an eye on these basic four that everybody have. And she says in that book, if I recall correctly, that the prostitute archetype is the guardian of faith and comfort, meaning that we will often sacrifice our faith in order to be comfortable in a situation, but that means we are by definition not necessarily in the light attribute, which accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. There are so many ways that I could be prostituting myself as a reader on YouTube and on the internet, and I can't do it. Can't do it. I've been reading cards since I'm 23. Sorry, I've been reading cards since I'm 12. I'm 53. Yeah, I know what I'll look at. Thanks. But that's what I mean. It's like my solar plexus throbs at the idea of putting out crap content, tarot readings, and divination. It's not my gig. I will not prostitute myself. Just as an example, in your career, the guide archetype, divine family archetype, the shadow attribute, places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. Now, I'm from Long Island, New York, and a lot of mediums have come out of Long Island. I'm not a medium. I'm a large. But I have seen mediums charge exorbitant amount of money, like $400, $500 for a 45-minute sitting. What? That seems shady to me, or at least shadowy. What you're shooting for in your career represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. And of course, when we tune to that divine eternal nature of what we are, we get that the guidance is everywhere. And then, of course, we can be a guide to others as we find that guidance within ourselves, right? In your vocation, I love this so much because I love the Hermit archetype. I live alone with my 3 black cats, my boys, Sabby, Belzy, and Melky, Sebastian, Balthazar, and Melchior. And believe me, the shadow is for realsies here, withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others. I think that's somewhat justified in the past, I don't know, 5-6 years, considering the pandemic and all of that. Refusing to help those in need, which I don't do. I had a call for help, a call for need today from somebody, and I packed up my shit and went. I did my best, and I came back, right? So I do leave the house, I do. The light attribute seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. They should just say, they should have my picture on this card. Yeah, no, I'm a Virgo, I can Hermit. It's not the tarot card of the Hermit, it's the archetype of the Hermit. So this is really about tapping into higher spiritual wisdom here. I like this, but everybody gets tested. particularly if you have any sort of like healing skill that you're bringing to the world, any kind of like spiritual art or something like that, you're going to be given the opportunity to dumb it down. You're going to be given the opportunity to water it down. You're going to be just, well, do you have to say, like people say, well, do you have to say witch? I'm like, yeah, I'm a witch. I'm a witch. Get over it. Right? I won't do it. I will not compromise that. Right? So interesting. So those are the most we talk about these cards, right? Everything else is pretty clear. Let's bring some tarot into this. The next 4 chakras down are the feminine energy, the internal world, the yin energy, the spiritual, mental, willpower, and emotional power that you do the work in, the internal work here. So we'll get 3 of these on the table to help bring that 8th chakra dynamic. See what's going on behind your eyes. Please take a nice deep breath. Oh, as I call upon my goddesses of water, the sign of Cancer, powers of the West, please, my beloved goddesses. 1 card each, work, career, vocation for the Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading in their work, career, and vocation. We got the Prostitute in the 8th chakra for their physical world, right? The literal world, their work in the world, how they navigate through this, the survival level with the survival archetype of the Prostitute in the 8th. And excellent, in the heart, third eye crown, you have the 8 of Flames, which would be the 7 of Flames, which would be the 7 of Wands, but the card here is victory. The key word is victory. Women galloping on horses with fireballs in their hands, but they are traveling in the same direction on top of cooling lava, the lava under the crust moving in the same direction. So though you may not be able to see it so much in the outer, maybe we'll get there. We got a whole other tarot deck for that. This is a momentum. This is throat chakra. You are making decisions to keep yourself inspired and moving forward and finding victory. Even the small victories. And with what we've been through on the pandemic, and if you're an empath, which chances are as a Cancerian, you're an empath and an emotional amplifier like an echo chamber, it can be really, really hard to make the choices and decisions that move us forward. And look, as far as victory goes, if I get the videos that I have, I'm Virgo, if I get the ones on my checklist done, I'm like, I'm going to Disneyland. I'm not going to Disneyland. It's not my gig. I'd go to the Wizarding World, though. I feel like I would know some people there. So excellent. A prostitute in the 8th. Not saying you're a prostitute. It's an archetype. But with 7 of Flames on the inner with victory. I like that. My goddesses, the guide in their career in the 8th chakra. What's going on there? Heart, throat, third eye, crown. Please just leave the card in my hand for the Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. You got the star. What we used to guide ourselves by before we had compasses and maps and latitude and longitude and knots, like Don knots, I don't know. Please don't make me do math. The card of the star here is the highest vibrational card for me in any tarot deck, right? You got the moon, you got the sun, and then you got the star. In turn, you can't even see my hand. It's reaching all the way up into outer space there. So this is about alignment. This is about hope. It is about that destiny dream, that dream of destiny. So I just have to say, if you're gonna, when it's a major arcana card, heart, third eye, crown, it's all 4 chakras, heart, third eye, crown, where if it's fire, usually it's throat chakra, will and desire. What you yearn for, what you burn for. This is really about bringing your inspiration down into your mental, emotional field, feeling that guidance, whether you act on it or not. Of course, the guidance would show that. Sometimes you can know what to do. You've got the what, you've got the why. You may not have the when, where, or how. Interesting. And I will say, if you are a reader, if you are an intuitive professional like myself, if you are a healer, if you are an uplifter, an inspirer, in whatever way, shape, or form, you might be guiding people very much with your own downloads, your own clarity. Not so much relaying information you get this way, but relaying information this way. The Hermit. In your vocation, your spiritual calling, my goddesses of Cancer, please, for the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, the Hermit, like the hermit crab that lives in its own shell, in their vocation calling, what's going on? Heart, throat, third eye, crown. Another major arcana card, but here we've got the card of oppression, the daughter of the moon version of the devil. It actually splits the devil card in half because it's a feminist deck. It's not going to use patriarchal symbolism like the devil. The other card it splits it into is the trickster, coyote woman. And I think both are relevant in terms of the devil card. But here we see the oppression of the chains around the neck that we see in the Rider-Waite deck every single time, right? They're loose around their neck. They could take them off and slip away, but they don't. So what I love about the art in this card, it is a woman buried under rocks in a flaming village, but the rocks have people's faces on them. So this can be societal repression, oppression. This can be the psychic weight of other people. If you're an empath, this could really be the chains that bind you emotionally, and that it's hitting in the Hermit in your vocation. I'm going to say that, yeah, you may be held back a little bit in terms of you realizing, meaning to make real your vocation. But with this guidance and grace and this victory, meaning you're not going to prostitute yourself, that you are going to accentuate the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. There's the power of your spirit coming down here. But there may be some ties that bind, some toxicity, some blocks, something oppressing you, heart, throat, third eye, crown, which is why the Hermit is so essential. Let me just read you that again. Seek solitude to focus intently on inner life serves personal creativity. Well, the guidance is there, but there's something oppressing here. Could be anything. Could be spiritual beliefs, you know. I'm watching so many things that we thought to be absolute truth not be obliterated, but there's always a higher truth. No matter how high you go in levels of consciousness, things get more abstract. We're all one. So I just did this thing, Lois Martin internet radio show last night at the time of this recording. I've got your number. The link's out there. If you follow me on Facebook or Patreon or any of that, I have it out there. Drawing the Circles Facebook page, all that. You know, the new definitions for twin flames and soulmates as put out there by Kahn. We're going to use his healing mantra deck in a little bit. And to understand that, nobody has to adopt that all wholesale, but there's always going to be a higher truth. So the idea of waiting for a soulmate to manifest when we're all one, see what I'm saying? We can have some spiritual beliefs in there that are really cutting, were necessary at the time. Don't fuck goats. Like if you want to go back to like the more ancient, it's like, yeah, have your boundaries set and clear. Not that we should start doing that now, mind you. Those are healthy ones, but just be careful. Take the time internally to really look at what are the ties that bind. And I don't get the feeling this is necessarily about other people. Could be. We'll see it the next 3 cards down. But it could be self-limiting beliefs. And it could absolutely be the chains that at one point kept you safe and now are cutting into your skin because you've grown. Mythic Tarot, lower 3 chakras, the masculine energy, the yang force. Go, yang force! Lower 3 chakras, root chakra, groups, tribes, any 3 people together. From a nation, your nationality, your genetic heritage, that's a tribe, your family, your circle of friends, the field that you are in, your favorite band, right? All of that stuff is tribal root chakra dynamic. Second chakra, relationship one-on-one, like an umbilical cord. Relationship to another person or thing. And your solar plexus, which I would think with that prostitute archetype there is going to be pretty key, your relationship to yourself. Your personal relationship to yourself, your honor code, your boundaries, what you will, what you won't, what you do, what you don't, whether you will prostitute yourself if the price is right. All of this toxicity can be yours if the price is right. Let's see what hits the table. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call upon my gods of water, the sign of Cancer, powers of the West, please, my beloveds. One card each. Work, career, vocation for the Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading in their work, their survival, intuition, literal level of power. We've got the Prostitute in the 8th with the 7 of Flames, victory on the inner. What's going on the outer? The Star. You got a double whammy. They're not in the same level of power, but I am going to say with the Star on the inner in your career, the Star is showing up on the outer in your work. There is guidance. There is grace. There is a way through this without you having to prostitute yourself, as long as you keep self-motivating, as long as you keep on that, even if the victory is, I'm going to let myself feel this, clackety clack, 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 crab claw, right? I'm going to make my way through this. I'm going to move forward on this. I'm going to do what only I can do in this situation for me, you know, to make those decisions, accentuating the challenge of surviving without negotiating, right? Like, what does a prostitute do? They negotiate. Well, how much you want, how much you got, right? I like that. Nice double whammy there. Really speaks, I would say, to what's going on in your career here. The guide with the Star, it feels like the guidance is coming to you on the outer as well as on the inner. Loving that. My gods, what's going on there? Lower 3 chakras. Guide in the 8th, Star on the inner. Ace of Swords on the outer, Athena, a clarifying truth comes in. It could be a message, it could be a piece of data, but it is certainly one that cuts through the bullshit. A new beginning, a seed of era. Ooh, what a good idea. Ooh, what a good idea. And certainly, as we said, if you are bringing through downloads, you're getting brand new thoughts. Maybe thoughts are occurring to you that completely go against things that you might have believed were absolute truth, to find out they're only relative truth. You know, it's like that whole thing of codependence did not exist. Well, it existed, but there was no name for it 1,000 years ago. I love saying this. Screw your dreams. We have to go hunt and gather, right? You had to sacrifice your heart's desires to survive. This is not that, right? But that doesn't mean that there isn't some sort of belief or spiritual something going on. Again, major arcana, heart, third eye, crown all at once. That is cutting into you here. So this sword, the downloads that you're getting, perhaps for a client, perhaps for others, might also be for you. You are being guided so that you can guide. This feels, your career really does feel like your leverage here. It feels like that seems to be the central, but the challenge is certainly here in the vocation. So let's look. My gods of water, sign of Cancer, powers of the West. The Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign has the Hermit in the 8th. Oppression, the Devil card on the inner. What's going on lower 3 chakras on the outer here? In this read, Queen of Cups. This could be an actual person. Might be you from the outside looking in. If that is true, then you're not really letting on what's going on. I mean, if you're going to get the Hermit card, get it with the Scorpio card, the Queen of Cups. Helena Troy, she didn't have to speak much. She still started a war. The face that launched 1,000 ships. And Scorpios, I love them. But, you know, don't assume with the Scorpio what they might be thinking or feeling, because they are cloudy with a chance of meatballs in terms of expressing that stuff. This could very much be someone as well in your life as some kind of emotional guide, since the guide and the Star is so powerful here for you. But I would say that there are people who are terrified of this word, occult forces, which just means hidden forces. Like if you have contact lenses and you get like one of them, like all of a sudden, like something goes across your contact lenses, it's called an occlusion, OCCULSION, an occlusion, right? Oh, I've got an occlusion in my eye on the lens. Well, that's, the root word is the occult. It means secret or hidden. So you could be keeping this all to yourself. And with the Hermit in the 8th, You may be feeling things incredibly deeply, Scorpios usually do, and you're a Cancer to begin with, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. If you do have Scorpio placement, go in, go deep, feel it to heal it. Whatever is oppressing you, you gotta feel it to heal it. I wish there was another way. Well, we tried sex, drugs, and rock and roll, right? Generation X? How'd that go? Got us into therapy and rehab, hopefully. Every day is a winding road. We get a little bit closer. All right, let's get you some of them there. Healing mantras from the Kahn Healing Mantra deck to help you heal these. I highly recommend this deck. A lot of my clients have them now because I guess they see what it does for me and it does in their readings. These will help you heal each of these individually, but if you put them together in small paragraphs, you get like practically mission statements. It's kind of cool. Let's see what the Ascended Masters have to say. Breathe. Still point. As I call upon the Ascended Masters of life purpose through work, career, and vocation, please, my beloveds, one card each. Work, career, vocation for the Cancerian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. What is the perfect healing mantra for their work? Prostitute in the 8th, victory on the inner, the star on the outer. Make it clear, make it clean, make it specific for my Cancerians. Oh, we're right, we're doing all these at once. I'm not looking. In their career, they've got the guide with the star on the inner, Ace of Blades, Athena on the outer. This totally feels like their leverage. What's going on here? What's their perfect healing mantra? Make it very clear for them. We're not looking yet. And in their vocation, their calling, they've got the Hermit in the 8th, which is perfect placement to receive the guidance and the grace. But there's some stuff in the way there. Oppression. It could be grief. It could be guilt. It could be shame. It could be blame. It could be all trauma. It could be all sorts of different stuff. Emotional baggage. Codependence. But with that Queen of Cups on the outer with the Scorpio, that makes it hidden. And maybe they're doing the transformative work there. Scorpio ruled by Pluto. Really going through the transforming and growing past and burning away them chains. Please give us the perfect healing mantra for them in this timeless work, career, vocation, reader, Okay. In your work, you've got uncovering confidence. I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. That will keep you, I want to say motivated, but I think what I mean is inspired. Motivation is the whip, inspiration is the carrot. And that's the light and the dark horse in the card of the Chariot, the Cancerian card, right? Yeah, every morning I'm like, oh, yay, I gotta do my thing. I'm like, oh, fuck, I gotta get out of bed, right? So I need both the motivation and the inspiration to move ahead. But with this victory on the inner, following your guidance, following your grace, with the guide archetype and the double whammy of the star, I think you're good to go. But what a powerful mantra. I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. And to say that if you've ever had a big jigsaw puzzle and one piece gets lost, that's the one you turn over the couch and empty out the garbage to find. That's how important each one of us is. You can't separate someone out of holographic unity, darling. In your career, as we said, you've got the guide in the 8th, star on the inner, Athena on the outer, growing beyond guilt. It couldn't have happened any other way. Now, I do feel like this has to do with this message that comes in, that you really get clear guidance saying, it was written into this life, whatever it is that the guilt is about, growing beyond guilt. It couldn't have happened any other way, whether it is your guilt or someone else's guilt. But I will tell you this, I have studied A Course in Miracles and done the workbook twice. A chain against my brother is a chain against myself, and we hold someone else in guilt. It cuts into us too. And in the words of the immortal, eternal Buddy Hackett, you gotta forgive, because if you don't forgive, you're home eating your heart out there out dancing. I'm a Hackett channel. I'm okay with that. I loved him. Everybody think he was so clean cut. You should have seen his stand-up. It was funny. It's not all about the music, man. I love this, right? This do make sense in your career. I think this is going to really help you. Again, Hermit in the 8th, oppression on the inner, Scorpio on the outer, invoking self-realization. Each breath confirms how awake I already am. This indicates breath work. This indicates being in the moment, like we use the word woke, right? To be spiritually awake. Be awake. Each breath, every time that you're feeling something and you are conscious of your breath, you're feeling it and you're healing it. Every inhale, we receive everything we need in that split second. And every time we exhale, we release everything that's ready to be released, right? Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. That's literal. This is spiritual. This is about you breaking these chains that bind, but each breath confirms how awake you already are. So focus on the breath. Go into hermitage. Face these chains that bind. And you ain't got to tell nobody nothing about it if you are that representation of Helen of Troy, the Queen of Cups. And certainly if you are working with, let's say, a spiritual healer, a shaman, a therapist, doing the deeper transformative work, I would think that would be great. Just remember to breathe, because you're going to breathe anyway. But you're in the present moment when you're focused on your breath. You can't focus on your breath in the past or in the future. You can only do it now. Which is why in these readings I say, breathe. Brings you right here, right now, and leads me to that still point where I can access the star in its way. Last card down, the brand new deck, the chakra reading cards. Ancient Wisdom to Balance and Heal by Rachelle, R-A-C-H-E-L-L-E. I know it's Rachel, but it's E-L-L-E. Charman, C-H-A-R-M-A-N. I love this deck so much that I incorporated it into the Work-Career-Vocations, and they'll probably show up in the 5-card draw new moon reads as well. New moon to full. The waxing moon reads. This is the domain. I have now consecrated this deck to the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. Please take a nice deep breath. We didn't do the bookie books for the Kahn Healing Mantra deck because we're doing it from this bookie book, which is extensive and cool. Ends with an affirmation too. You get 3 mantras and an affirmation for free on YouTube. Not bad. Breathe. And that's only your sun, moon, rising, or Venus signs as a call to the higher selves of all involved. 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. What is the chakra message? Help them find their leverage here. Give them some clarity, some guidance, some grace, some information, inspiration, insight needed for the Cancerian collective, sun, moon, rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. They are the hermit in their calling, the guide in their career, the prostitute in their work in their way, right? Can they be the prostitute with the heart of gold, hooker with the heart of gold who does not compromise their spirit? 1 card in clarity, please, to complete this timeless work, career, vocation read. Card number 16, determination. A solar plexus card. Now, with uncovering confidence, victory, the star, and the prostitute, this does really highlight lower 3 chakras is the 1st level. Heart, third eye crown is the 2nd level. 8th chakra is the 3rd. We're going to read this, but these are salmon swimming upstream so they can breed and die. Sex and death babies. Eros and Thanatos. And that's not a Marvel villain. Thanatos. Although I bet that's where they got the name from. Shall we? Literally have not even had this this deck a week yet, but I am very, very into it. The artwork is gorgeous, and the guidance pretty on point. Let's see how this comes out. Please take a nice deep breath. Card number 16. Determination, solar plexus chakra. You have called this card into your awareness today as a reminder of the power and importance of determination. This powerful energy is calling you to align with it as you bring out the determination that lies within you. Again, I'm going to say that victory, that motivation, that inspiration is definitely a part of determination for you, at least. Everything at some point requires that extra energy to push it to the next stage of creation. And usually before we do that, we get a prostitute test. Will you negotiate the power of your spirit for money, safety, comfort, right? Will you pull back? Will you manifest a little Taurian kitty cat out of nowhere? He's not so little. I know, black cat on a black cushion. Hard to see, but he's there. Determination and will are the keys to amplifying your desired outcome at this time. You may have been working hard on a certain project, working in the work there, to have come to a standstill, right? You've been working on it, something's oppressing it, right? Might have come to a standstill. You may have doubts, and the negative thoughts may be overshadowing your dreams. It is natural to have doubts. However, pulling this card is a sign it's time to get focused and determined. Nothing in the world can take this dream from you. Allow the fire in your belly, solar plexus, to rise as you bring forth the energy required to move to the next stage in your manifestation. This is very much about first level of power, the literal world, uncovering confidence and all of that. But bringing this all into alignment is going to give you what you need to pull this off. It's time to be focused and clear on your outcome. What is it that you would like to create? What are your desires? You're the only one to make this happen, and it's important to keep your eye on the goal. Don't let it go. Do what needs to be done to make it happen. When you feel like all the odds are against you and you want to give up, know that you have the determination to succeed. And before I finish that, it's very much like wanting to put your truth out into the world, but then being afraid of being in the arena. It's very Brene Brown, you know, dare greatly, bravely dare. I forget the exact word. I love her, right? And will you prostitute yourself or not? Only you could get to make that decision. This powerful energy lives inside you and is ready and waiting for you to surrender to its calling. Call forth the power of determination to once again bring you into alignment with your dreams and desires. It is truly amazing what you can achieve when you put your mind to something and apply determination. This is a great trait of a champion athlete. It is time for you to be a champion and go for what you desire. And here's your affirmation. I am an unstoppable being of love and determination. Yeah. I've always had Cancerian women in my life. One Cancerian boyfriend who I'm still friends with. But y'all can be moody as AF, but you can be very, very determined. Pay attention to your solar plexus and all of this. That's going to tell you whether you're violating your honor code and whether you're prostituting yourself. So, as I like to do at the end of every single reading I do on YouTube, I'd like to end this with a little bit of a blessing in a summation all at the same time, and then we'll chat a little bit at the end, and then we are done. So I'm going to read these this way instead of this way, and watch how it comes down through the chakras. Torch of Archangel Ariel. Please take a nice deep breath. Still point. As I call to the collective pantheons of the divine, for the Cancerian collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading, may they be blessed with all that they need in their vocation, that they may seek the solitude, to focus intently on inner life, serving their personal creativity, and to break the chains that bind within them, heart, third eye crown, with that Scorpio, Queen of Cups energy. deep feeling, deep healing, but maybe not so verbal about it, or dealing with someone with that scorpionic transformative energy, invoking their self-realization each breath, confirming how awake they already are, and that in their career they can represent the nature of the divine in life and in themselves, allowing themselves to be aligned and lit with the energy of the star, their dreams, their hopes, the very things that this determination solar plexus energy was pointing to, right? To really tune themselves to that heart, throat, third eye, crown. And if this is not receiving a truth that cuts through the illusion, it might be delivering it, right? If it's not receiving it horizontally, it might be them bringing it out and through with a message that grows beyond guilt. Couldn't have happened any other way. It's a quantum game. We're eternal souls that are chosen to play in human bodies for the evolution of the soul, not the gratification of the ego. There are other planets for that. This planet used to be that. It's not that anymore. So that they can really grow beyond guilt here, so that in their work they can accentuate the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of their spirit with this great galloping victory through their own choice and their own will, following their star, making their wish, following the path even if nobody else gets it or understands. They do, because they are uncovering their confidence, knowing that they are the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. And may they be blessed with the grace of determination, the grace of understanding, the grace of discernment, but all to help them activate and act upon that determination, that solar plexus power that only they can do for themselves, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may bring their chakras into alignment, that they may synchronize their work, career, and vocation into one movement of energy, being more fulfilled, fulfilling their role in the divine plan, and through the holographic unity of it all, help heal this world. And may their healing greatly bless the people of Ukraine, that they keep their determination to be free and stay free, to be sovereign. We are all sovereign beings, divine beings in form. They are out picturing for us the challenge in a horrible, horrendous, apocalyptic possible situation. May our healing help them, and may their trials bless us all. And may we all come out of this better than how we started, for the well-being of all, and with harm to none. Oh, as we will it, so let it be done. So motivate, and so it is. They've been intense reads, but it's an intense time, my crab cakes. I love you for it. So did you love the video? Did you like the video? Then hit the thumbs up. Help the other crabs find it. This is kind of important stuff, I would think. And if you want more of me here on YouTube, absolutely consider subscribing. Every subscription helps other people find the videos. I'm just trying to do what I came here to do, so I can go home when it's time to go home, look over my shoulder and go, yeah, nailed it. That was pretty good. And if you really want these when they're ready, hit the notification bell. I'm putting these out when they are ready. I took myself off the YouTube treadmill. Why? Because I'm over on Patreon, patreon.com/drawing the circle. I stream there every morning with a cup of coffee, talking about the lunar astrology of the day, usually with bedhead, but always in my bathrobe apparently. I'm building a lovely community over there. I would love to have you along. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very, very blessed of your life fulfillment of your life purpose through work, career, vocation, my beloved crab cakes. I love you. Well, farewell, and blessed, blessed be.